In this presentation, we are going to look at the Sharpville Massacre. This development happened in South Africa during the Apartheid era. The Apartheid era was the period where the minority whites of mainly European background took over the control of South Africa and implemented or established a discriminatory government pattern, made laws and policies that were very discriminatory against mainly the blacks and some other non-whites or people from some people from the Asian background. Well, during this period, this particular incident happened, which was a reaction of blacks against the apartheid government in South Africa. But before this period, some policies and government of or laws, some policies and laws of the apartheid government did not go down well with the blacks. One of such law was the Land Act of 1913. The Land Act of 1913. In that Land Act, black families were made to collect a piece of land from white families. Then the black families were expected to cultivate, but after harvesting, whatsoever is the proceed is shared into two and given to the white family. This made the black families to be squatters, or to be dependent on the white families, which were all of European background, while the people that were originally the owners of the land suffered. The next one was the First Labor Act. The First Labor laws made series of conditions for blacks to relate with the white in the area of the labor force. Lucrative positions were kept only for the whites. The blacks were not allowed to take jobs that will be very lucrative or that will pay high for them. And then some of them that were employed in the areas where the whites reside mainly were made to carry passes. They were made to record or register their contracts with the labor office of their local area. And they were as well forbidden from even holding or being members of the labor union. This was because the government or the apartheid government at that time never wanted the blacks to use the labor union as a means of presenting or fighting out their grievances. This as well didn't go down well with the blacks. There was another law, another discriminatory law, which was the Mixed Marriage Act. The Mixed Marriage Act had as its major intention or major focus the idea of prohibiting mixed marriage between or interracial marriages in the country. Blacks and whites were not allowed to marry themselves. At the time also the law was readjusted, whereby it was meant to be Immorality Act, which was mainly focused on even forbidding sexual relationship between the blacks and the whites, which didn't go down well with the blacks and the whites as well. All this and some other policies and laws brought out serious and strong discriminatory activities against the blacks. The blacks were also made to carry passes, documents, before they were allowed to enter into territories where the whites resides. Those of them that were working there were also made to carry passes, documents of their contracts and other important documents. Blacks were not also allowed to be outside their residential area during the curfew periods. This didn't go down well with the blacks. There were a whole lot of policies of the white government that didn't go down well with the blacks. For this reason, the blacks started adjusting or reacting to some of these policies. First, the foundation of Blacks Only Union or Blacks Only Organization, which later became the ANC, the African National Congress. At first, it was the South African Native National Congress, which was a brainchild of Paisley Kar Isaka in 1912. This was later transformed to the African National Congress in 1923. And this was to put together a home force or a force for the blacks to present their situation. The ANC wrote series of letters to the apartheid government which were not taken serious. They as well wrote series of letters to the British government which didn't take it serious. As at this period, South Africa was actually under the colonial control of the British. In 1919, the ANC mobilized Africans in order to resist the past system. And this brought about high level of civil disobedience by the blacks. A good number of them were arrested by the police and put on trial. There was a strong, brutal suppression of this movement. This led to the failure of the mobilization organized by the ANC. Well, the failure of this organization brought a level of split in the ANC. Some Africans felt that the ANC didn't carry out this particular mobilization properly. And this created the division, which led to the formation of PSC, Pan-African Congress. The formation of PSC, but one thing that happened before the formation of PSC was that the ANC had an alliance with some South Africans of Asian background and also some liberal Europeans which were against the apartheid government. But some members of the ANC, some black members of the ANC were not comfortable with this union or this collaboration. They pulled out and established the PAC, the Pan-African Congress. And the policies or the organization of the PAC was in line with the Kwame Nkrumah's PAC that was at that time in Ghana. Well, there were some disunity also within this group. But around December 1959, the ANC decided to launch another mobilization. But before they launched, they were to launch it around March. But before they launched, the PAC has already launched the mobilization. This brought about very serious demonstration all around South Africa, mainly in black territories. And one of the places where the demonstration was so serious was at Sharpville. In Sharpville, the police became very brutal. The police used strong brutality against the demonstrators. In fact, in the response of the police at Sharpville, about 69 blacks were killed and about 180 were injured. Most of them were shot at the back as they were fleeing from the location or the place because of the attack of the police. The deaths of these people brought about serious outcry against the activities of the apartheid government in South Africa. Some African countries that had independence before that period, and some Asian countries decided to lobby for the suspension of South Africa in United Nations organization. But this lobby was suppressed and vetoed by Britain and USA.